I dive deep into like structures and processes quite often as a coach, because the goal isn't just like, oh cool, I want to lose weight. The goal is to lose weight and then hold that weight, right? Like I want to lose this amount of weight and then I actually want to become the individual that holds that weight. That is the biggest thing that no one ever talks about. It's like, yeah, I just want to lose 10 kilos. And it's like, okay, besides this arbitrary like 10 kilos or 5 kilos thing, it's like, okay, what does that actually look like? And then what does that, like, as in what does that look like in the end goal? Like, do you look a certain way? Do you feel a certain way? Talk to clients about what does that like really look like so that we can motivate you enough to do the thing. But no one ever talks about the identity you have to become to then hold that, because at the end of the day, like, it's just calories, right? Like you have to eat less, move more, and like the most simple version, I think a lot of people then try to like simplify it too much, like, oh, you just got to do that. And at the end of the day, yes, but then how do you do that often enough that not only do you facilitate the result, but you actually live a life in which the calories that we give you is the calories you then live off of, and the steps that you live that we give you are the steps that you live off of, right? Because we see it all the time. How many people lose weight and then gain it all back? So when we look at weight loss, the goal is to know what you're currently doing right now and understand your baseline, how much steps you're taking, what's your current diet like, what is your time management. A lot of that is like to do with how much meals you have during the day. How do you look at food? Do you look at food as like, I eat it when I'm hungry, I eat it when I'm bored, I only eat it when I'm hungry? And then the most important part is like education, right? So it's like, what do you know about food? Like, do you look at food as like, oh, I've been told I can't eat this, or there is such thing as healthy and unhealthy food, or carbs are bad, or I heard that too much protein is bad for the liver, or fat is actually fat. We have to have conversation with clients about their education, about what they're knowledgeable about, and do they understand when you eat more, you have to move more to mitigate excess fat gain, or do you just eat when you're hungry and then you don't eat throughout the whole week because you're so focused on work and being too distracted because you're a human, and then on the weekend like you don't know how to regulate your hunger because you're like, oh my god, I'm so hungry, why am I so hungry? And it's probably because you just didn't eat enough food during the week and now you're trying to catch up, right? Intuitively you kind of get it, but no one's explained it well enough for you to go, oh, that's what's going on. So that's a baseline. And then after that, it's like, okay, cool. So we know who you are. We know how you move. We know how much you're moving. We know how much you're eating. We know your education of your food. We know how we end up getting the answer here. And then from there, we start to track your fruit, your veg, your protein intake and everything. So then it's not even a prescription. It's more of a, okay, like let's see what you do during the day, during the week. And then we do that for 2 weeks. And then from there, we go, okay, cool. Seems like you're missing these factors. And I know that you're listening to this and you're like, oh, we're not even getting to the point of just like restricting calories or moving more. So no, because at the end of the day, like, I would rather add than take. I'd rather give you, this is how much fruit you're supposed to be eating, this much veg you're supposed to be eating, and then if you eat those things, you would then have to, like, two things happen. You would have to add fruit or veg into your diet, and then you might become too full to eat the bad food, or you have to eat the fruit and veg and the bad food, and you go, God, there's so much food. I'm like, well, what do you feel better on? Isn't the goal to lose weight? So therefore you should probably eat better food, and so that they'll reduce the bad food to add that in. So we're not just restricting, we're adding, and then because you're adding, you'll take away. And then from there we start to go, okay, what is what is your capacity in tracking your input and output? Your output's the easiest part, it's your steps, right? Like, and that's what I have to teach clients too. It's like sometimes output isn't, oh, like how much cardio are you doing? Like when's your heart rate above 120? Like, don't make it too complicated for yourself. How much is your current output? Like, when was the last time you walked purposefully outside of just like your normal day-to-day life? And then your input is like, okay, how do you want to track it? So we've got the hand plan, we've got taking photos of food every time you eat, we've got calorie counting. What is the process in which you will rock up the more consistently? And I think a lot of people are so nervous about calorie counting because it's going to hold you more accountable to yourself immediately. You start to track everything you eat and you're like, oh God, you start to recognize things. And so many people do it for a couple of days and then turn off because they're just like, I just don't have time. Like, you don't have 5 minutes in your day every time you eat to track something. The best thing that comes with tracking input is that you actually start to learn how you eat, and you also start to learn how food works. You start to learn how you feel after you eat certain foods, because you're starting to actually be way more involved in your eating, and it becomes less of a passive process and more of an active process. Every time you eat, you start to go, oh, not only do I just grab these chocolates, now I have to track it somehow. Do I take a photo of it? Do I do a hand plan, or do I calorie counter? And then from there you go, oh snap, like I didn't know I was doing this so often, maybe I'll stop. And just tracking it, you might lose weight just by doing that, because now you're not eating in a passive process, you're eating more actively and thinking about eating a bit more. Yes, there's a learning curve when it comes to counting calories, but it's like, I would much rather you look at the end goal as, hey, I want to become the person that weighs this, rather than, oh, I want to lose weight, and then like inevitably I'll probably gain it all back because I've learned nothing from the process. And so that's where a lot of my coaching is education. The goal is for my clients to feel confident and competent in what they're doing. And so that every time they're not with me, they know why they're doing what they're doing. And that's more important than me going, this is what you're doing today. This is the process, this is the goal, this is how we're gonna get there. It's more of a, oh, did you know if you have this, this happens? And they'll do it too. They'll eat, like we just talked about, you'll eat this food and you'll feel this way. So you see how this process is more of a, oh, we're starting to like, we're here and we want to be here, but there's a whole gap here. And that's whole like understanding who you are, your baselines, how you move, what you eat, and then learning who you are by taking photos, calorie counting or hand plan. And then you sort of learn more about you, and you start to go, oh, do I have to let go of the person that I am to become the person I want to be? And it's also like a litmus test for yourself and the coach to see how important it is for you to lose weight. And it's also important for you to recognize maybe weight loss isn't the goal. Maybe it's becoming stronger. Maybe it's eating better. Maybe it's more confident in who you are and what you do. Maybe it's like you start to recognize that through the journey, what's actually more important. Because it's not, I think a lot of people think weight loss is their goal, but sometimes it's more so they want to feel more confident. More so they want to look good naked. More so they want to feel stronger. More so they want to know that if they eat bad food,